All right, this is the continuation of saving Kimberly, the big Craftsman electric start mower that the deck was torn up on. This is the original vanity cover. It's the big one, 7.25 gross torque, platinum grade. That's as good as Craftsman makes. But this is really just the deck mostly. Now these engines are big and tough, and since it was an electric start, this is, you're not going to see on most flywheels, this is where the starter mower engages that when you use the key start. But this is a different deck because I'm just interested in trying to get this engine running again. It does have compression, I've checked that. The issue right now is it's slightly full of oil. I have to drain some of the oil off. A lot of people do that because they don't understand these mowers don't take a lot of oil, and they overfill them. And that raises pressure and can smoke and everything else. But the main thing I want you to see is the linkage here on this carburetor on these mowers is tricky. It's very tricky. So what happens is there's a thermostat over here on the muffler. And so as soon as you crank it up, that muffler starts getting hot. And as it does, right now it's in the choke position, which is what you want. And then as it warms up, it starts to move. The thermostat moves this way. The problem is this is catching, right? You'll be able to hear this. And it's not too bad right now, but see right there, that should just go, but it drags. And this little spring here is what holds it in place. And see, it should go back. That spring should pull it back, but it's dragging, and it could be dragging just because this carburetor's dirty here and here. So I'm going to check that first. So let me set this in the holster, and we're going to work on this carburetor together. And that's always a fun thing to do. So let me get as close as I can here with this camera so you guys can see what it is I'm doing. So let me get some carb cleaner. Hang on. Ultimately, I'm probably going to end up changing this carburetor out anyway, but I just wanted to show you on these old carburetors what can hang up on these. This spring is for the governor. It's the governor linkage. That feels about right. This is hanging. Okay, so let me try a little squirt here. I'm going to squirt down at the bottom. If that is the issue, I expect it'll be on the bottom. Just going to wiggle this back and forth a few times. See that? It's still right there. See, it should go back. That little spring should pull it back, but right there, I'm pushing, and it goes. So there's something not right about this. It could be dragging here, but I don't think so. This is a 1/4 inch screw, but that seems okay. I think it's something else, but it could be something with they call this an air vane, but that's really a misnomer. It's just a linkage to that thermostat on the other side. But let's take a look underneath here and see what's what. Now the first thing I want to do to get this cover off, you got to unscrew that 5/16 right there and get that dipstick out of the way. I'm going to do that. So that's loose. Let me get my my gloves on for this part of the show. I'm trying to do it from this side. I'm going to wiggle this dipstick and try to swing it up in a way. Go on the other side. Okay. So taking that dipstick and taking it out of the hole and swung it away, so then when I unscrew these 3/8 screws that are holding this cover on, the dipstick is out of the way and it will come up. So let me do that. Get those screws out. These are the 3/8 that have to come off. And let me get my extension. I'm going to go around and start all these before I start really torquing this wrench up. So I'm going to get this one started. That one started. These are the two in the front. That one started. And here's the two in the back. That one started. That one started. So now all four come out. There's one. There's number 2. 3 in the front. And 4 in the front. Let me set those over there. Now this should just lift up. You do have to be careful about this because there's critters under here sometimes. Mice, spiders, wasps, whatever. So I'm slowly looking. Okay, I don't see any critters. Thank goodness. Let me set this rewinder down. Big old heavy flywheel on this thing. Let me show you how this works. And by doing that, I'll be able to check this thermostat too. You see, here's the metal end of the thermostat, the arm of that, and it's on some spring tension. So when it comes this way, it should go back by itself. And see there, it goes back by itself. That means it's working. Now, when it gets, as soon as you crank it, that muffler starts getting hot, and that heat goes up here, boom, and it starts to move this arm out of the way, which then gets the choke part of this carburetor, which is here. Let me show you here. This is the reason it's self-priming, because it's choked now. So when you pull the cord, it's going to draw fuel in there because it's choked. And then it'll run a little bit rough, and then all of a sudden it'll start to get warm. And this arm then is going to be moved by that thermostat arm on the other side. It's going to push. It'll move that out of the way. And this is how it runs the whole time when it's warm, because you don't need it to be choked. And the other throttle is deep inside there. It's hard to see, but see that? That's where it's going to allow the fuel to go in. So you want this to start the mower in this position. It heats up really quick and then moves this way. But if it doesn't go back the next time you go to start the mower, if it's stuck in this position like it is now, which it shouldn't be, because that spring should pull it back, then it won't start because it isn't choked. Okay, so we've got to figure out why this little spring is sometimes dragging. And you can actually hear the sound. I'm going to put this down. Put this camera down, and we're gonna get my ear over here and see if I can hear where it is dragging. This is a common problem. believe it or not, with these carburetors. Okay, it may be that I'm just hearing where the pin of that arm goes in there. This spring looks fine. Let me loosen this thing. That's a 1/4 inch. Let me get that loosened. It may just be that my carburetor's so funky I gotta get it off there and put a new one on. Sometimes you can get a bunch of crud up here under this post, and that'll cause this thing to drag. You want this thing to be super loosey-goosey. See, that's now it's still hanging up. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, that's a little rough. Let me get my brush on there. See if I can clean that up a little. That post is it's got a little crud and varnish on there. This wire brush kind of polishes that up. All right, let me slip this. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this spring, this end right here. It's on a little fish hook thing, and I got to get it off. Whatever you do, don't lose that little spring. It's hooked on another metal hook on that end. I wanted to look at this and see. That's pretty slick. Let me get that wire brush on here. Let's see. Okay, got everything in position there. Gonna snug this thing down. Okay, it's still dragging. It's coming off. Okay, it's this should move very freely. So I think what I'm going to do is sign off for now, and when we come back, I'm going to have a new carburetor on here because this is just too crudded up. I may clean this at some point, but to me it's just simpler to go ahead and get a new carburetor on there. I don't pay a whole lot for them, maybe $10 or $11. But I see that as a problem. Okay, I'm gonna sign off for now. When you come back, I'll probably have that new carburetor on there.